The people of Denmark are very anxious, are quite concerned, and the people of Greenland even more so, and that this current tone and tempo of statements about acquisition is not constructive. I think I speak for every senator and House member here in that we deeply value NATO, and that this 80-year-old alliance, this partnership, has been absolutely critical to the United States' security and prosperity and success.
Trump's Greenland obsession continues to trouble American lawmakers across the political spectrum. Republican lawmakers are scrambling to counter President Donald Trump's threats to take control of Greenland, an issue that has prompted unusually strong opposition within the party. Lawmakers have delivered floor speeches stressing NATO's importance, introduced bills aimed at preventing any U.S. action against Denmark, and even sent a small delegation to Copenhagen to meet Danish officials and discuss the way forward. Delaware Democratic Senator Chris Coons led the bipartisan delegation to Denmark in an effort to bring the temperature down, while also advancing discussions on shared military arrangements in the Arctic. The trip included Republican Senators Thom Tillis of North Carolina and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, along with several Democratic lawmakers. Denmark's parliament, known as the Folketing, posted a video on its X account of the U.S. senators' visit to the Danish kingdom, where they reaffirmed their commitment to valued allies, Greenland and Denmark. Senator Chris Coons said he saw no wisdom in trying to acquire Greenland.
The Danish people have fought alongside of us. We've been allies for 80 years. We've been friends for centuries, and we will be friends for centuries in the future.
Have hope. Do not give up on us. We are leading a bipartisan delegation from the United States Congress, the House and the Senate, to reassure our trusted and valued allies in Denmark and Greenland about our intentions, about our appreciation and respect for the decades of service and sacrifice alongside each other to try and help calm some understandable anxiety and nerves in this difficult moment, and to reinforce our relationships. Know that in the Article 1 branch, the branch that is responsible for spending and for authorizing any actions of the U.S. government, that there are members who do not see any wisdom in trying to acquire Greenland, that we know that the people of the Kingdom of Denmark welcome American partnership, and that we have a positive path forward together.
Yeah, from time to time, friends and family members disagree, but we're still friends and family, and we will be into the future.
Following the meeting with Danish officials, U.S. Senator Chris Coons pushed back against President Trump's remarks on Greenland, saying Denmark is a trusted NATO ally, and the issue should be resolved through diplomacy, not acquisition.
As you know, Donald Trump has said that he wants to own or take over Greenland because, quote, that's what I feel is psychologically needed for success. I mean, right now, you're a part of a delegation that is engaging in traditional diplomacy, reassuring an ally. You are doing what has traditionally been done for years and years in a crisis like this. But given that Donald Trump seems to have a psychological need for Greenland, which he says, how can you counter that with traditional methods, especially when so far publicly there have been minimal Republicans opposing this?
Well, Elizabeth, thank you for the question. I can't speak to President Trump's psychological needs. That's really not my goal here. Your question, though, is repeating something he has said. I'll say this. One of the things that's been made clear to us is that the people of Denmark are very anxious, are quite concerned, and the people of Greenland even more so. And that this current tone and tempo of statements about acquisition is not constructive. I think I speak for every senator and House member here in that we deeply value NATO, and that this 80-year-old alliance, this partnership, has been absolutely critical to the United States' security and prosperity and success. I was at the NATO summit, as was Senator Shaheen, Senator Tillis, and others. This was a remarkably successful NATO summit last year at The Hague. NATO has dramatically stepped forward. Denmark, the Kingdom of Denmark, is now spending 3.2% of its GDP on security. NATO, in some ways, should be celebrated and embraced as being stronger than ever. Greenland is a part of Denmark. Denmark is our NATO ally. That should be the end of this discussion, in my view, because I think to do or say anything that puts at risk our trustworthiness as an ally is fundamentally strategically dangerous for the United States. So in recent conversations with ambassadors from other countries, from the Indo-Pacific, from throughout the world, if we do or say things as a nation, and I'm speaking as a senator, if I do or say something that causes a close and trusted NATO ally, there is almost no better ally to the United States than Denmark. If we do things that cause Danes to question whether we can be counted on as a NATO ally, why would any other country seek to be our ally or believe in our representations? In terms of my psychological needs, knowing that the United States is a respected and trusted ally and partner around the world is a core part of what, speaking for myself, I'm trying to accomplish. And, I'll let others in the delegation disagree if you do, but I think a lot of our security as a nation has rested on our being trustworthy. We're the Article I branch. We are having active conversations amongst ourselves about what is the wisest course of action. If nothing else, I think de-escalating the level, tone, and frequency of rhetoric around this and injecting some reality about what are the actual circumstances of the security threats. There are no current security threats to Greenland. How can we best navigate Arctic security together with NATO? And how can we best navigate access to newly emergent resources around the world together? Those are conversations that we intend to continue when we get back to Washington.
Republican Senator Thom Tillis called Trump's tariff plans bad for America, bad for American businesses, and bad for America's allies. Senator Lisa Murkowski warned that the focus on Greenland is diverting NATO's attention and resources, threatening the stability of the alliance and benefiting Russia. Last week, Republican lawmakers also met in Washington with Denmark's foreign minister and Greenland's representative, where security arrangements were discussed.
We will meet again Friday in Copenhagen, so we will continue our discussion. And it is important that people in Congress and the Senate emphasize that, of course, everybody has to respect the UN Charter and the territorial integrity of the Kingdom of Denmark. Having said that, we know that we are in a different geopolitical situation in comparison with like 10 years ago, when everybody believed that the Arctic should be low tension area and everybody took the peace dividend. Things have changed. We are also ready to step up. We have done that. We have invested almost $15 billion last year and the year before in capabilities in Greenland, and we are ready to do more. It should be done respectfully in a close cooperation with the Kingdom of Denmark and US and in the framework of NATO.
Despite these efforts, Trump continues to insist on taking possession of the Arctic island. His stance has fueled fears of a potential unraveling of NATO and raised broader concerns on Capitol Hill and globally about the impact of his unilateral foreign policy on world order. He has also announced that beginning in February, he would impose a 10% import tax on goods from 8 European countries in response to their opposition to his plans for Greenland.
We're going to put a 25% tariff, which is, by the way, about 7 times more than they would have to pay by raising their drug, like 7 times. This wasn't like a little bit more, 7 times more. And I may do that for Greenland too. I may put a tariff on countries if they don't go along with Greenland, because we need Greenland for national security. So I may do that.
Lawmakers are exploring ways to legally block any U.S. military action against Greenland, even as the Trump administration shows little willingness to seek congressional approval. Republicans like Murkowski are pushing legislation to bar Defense Department funds from being used to attack or occupy NATO territory and to counter Trump's tariffs, though similar resolutions have failed in the past. Democrats are advancing war powers measures aimed at forcing congressional approval before engaging in hostilities, with one such resolution narrowly defeated in the Senate last week.